here we go.
Yes, people. How's everyone doing today on Eagle Talks Football? We're back again with another good video. Today, we're going to be doing an Arsenal news update with my boy, Dan Potts. How you doing? I almost said bots there by accident.
No, it's calm, man. Thank you for having me on, mate. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure
Last
to
time
come
we
on,
met,
chat.
bro, you were in a completely different mood. You were not happy about the transfer window.
Man.
Things were going crazy. It was a long time ago. I think a year ago today, before we signed Jesus, the mood around Arsenal was not as positive as it is right now. And it's lovely to see, right?
Oh, listen, we're in a different place. And I think in the last couple of years, there's been some real big ups and downs. And I've been one that's had massive concerns. You know, I've made that no secret with my opinions. And I've always sort of believed that a lot of them were justified. And I'm starting to see a little bit of refreshing, if I'm honest, in this transfer window. So I'm looking forward to getting in with you, man, and talking about what's been going on at the club.
Fair enough. And I think there's only one place to start, the business that we've already done. And you were saying to me before the stream, where's Declan Rice? Where's Timber? Now, bro, we know this club. We know it inside out. And they do this because they love to build the anticipation and to give each person their opportunity to have their moment in the sun. And I just feel like at some point, just drop a double announcement. Just get it over with. But they don't want to do that. They want to drag things out. They want to give everyone their specific time in the limelight where everyone just talks about them. They release everything on the website one by one. And I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a Timber announcement at like 11 o'clock at night. They don't really care. But as long as that person gets a 24-hour cycle where everyone just talks about them.
Yeah, man, listen, I want it to be announced. I'm like every gooner. I'm excited to see both of these come into the club. I think these two signings, for me anyway, are a lot more exciting than the Kai Havertz one, just because of the Kai Havertz last couple of years at Chelsea, which I'm sure we'll get into. But for me, Timber and Rice are going to absolutely take Arsenal's team, in my opinion, to another level. And I think with Jurriën Timber's ability on the ball, we're going to see him being very versatile. And we all know what Declan Rice has done, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch for West Ham. I think that's massively important for the type of character he is, the leader that he is. And I think, Igal, what's really important is that he was our number one target, and we finally look like we've got one of them over the line now. So Edu and Arteta can relax a little bit on that one and start to say, this is the guy we wanted. This is the guy that hopefully we can get in. I just don't understand why it takes so long. Like, you look at like Pau Torres being like coming in at Villa, boom, like 3 days ago he's linked, then he comes through the door. The Kai Havertz one with us seemed to be quite quick. So a lot of people saying that holidays have got in the way, West Ham not playing ball, lawyers are getting involved. It's all a bit of a mess, but I'm hoping it don't stop it, man, and we can get this guy over the line, which I'm sure we will do, man.
I'm pretty sure you realize that Arsenal's social media team are trolling us at this point.
Yeah, that's it, man.
They do this on purpose. Did you see the little Timber thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
they do it. They love it. They must be. Do you know what? They're like. Do you know what's that program with Ant and Dec where they like put something in their ear and say, right, put it in now? That's what the social media team do at Arsenal. They're like, just throw this in now and confuse everyone or play with people's minds. I'm sure they've like the best job in the world, man. Do you know what I mean?
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
That's it. I'm a celebrity, get me out of your ear. That's what it's called. Well done, man. That is exactly what they do on the social media at Arsenal.
You know, that's a funny take. But I had Kia on Football London journalist the other day, and he was telling me that this is completely intentional. Arsenal are football savvy, and they know that there's times that they should drop news, and there's times where it's not as beneficial to drop the news. So they probably are waiting for the ideal moment, and the ideal moment might be after the game, or it could be a situation where they wait until Friday to do an announcement before the players actually go to the USA tour. But regardless, the Arsenal detectives are gonna probably figure it out before Arsenal drop it, because as you know, our fan base is full of detectives that just figure out stuff. Did you see the new one today? They already seen little tidbits from the Arsenal website. So I'm done with the anticipation. I just sit back. I wait, because in my opinion, the moment David Ornstein puts his credibility on the line, it's done. I don't think David Ornstein would ever do that without concrete evidence that it's a done deal.
No.
So
I agree.
I believe those are done. But let's get into the Kai Havertz thing. How do you feel about that signing, bro? Because I'm not gonna lie, it hit me from left field. But now that it's happened, I'm kind of on board. I kind of, but it took a lot of convincing myself and kind of getting a lot of tacticals to talk to me about what position he could play, how he's going to do. And Mikel Arteta actually saying when he got announced that he's going to be using him in the midfield in that little speech saying he could bring value to our midfield. But yeah, and also people in the comment section, don't forget Dan Potts' channel is in the description. It's literally the first line. Go check it out. The 12th man. What is it? The football's 12th man.
That's right. Yeah.
Football's 12th man. Make sure you guys go check it out. We're going to be on later today at 8 p.m. And of course, let me know where you're watching from across the world. If you're watching this on the playback or you're watching live, as I love to know how diverse my audience is. But yeah, continue. What were you going to say about Kai Havertz?
Yeah, no, big up, man. Thank you for the plug as well. Appreciate that. Listen, I'm like you. I thought this deal was a bizarre one. It came out of nowhere for me. I never had Kai Havertz on my wish list. I don't think many Gooners do. I'm going to reserve judgment until he plays in an Arsenal shirt, but my opinion at the moment is this is a strange one for the reason that I just don't think he's performed for Chelsea in the last couple of years. Now, the only thing against that is who actually has played well for Chelsea in the last couple of years. A handful of players. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, both when they're fit. I think Kovacic over the last couple of years for sure. Kante when he's fit for sure. But I've seen some poor performances from a lot of Chelsea players, particularly the season just gone. So it doesn't mean he's going to be a shambles when he comes to Arsenal. I'm not going to do that because there's a lot of Arsenal fans that wrote off the likes of Ben White for 50 million, Odegaard for 30, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, and some of the others, to be fair. And actually, when we look at it this season and last season, they've killed it. So I'm not going to sit there and say that Havertz is going to flop at Arsenal. But I do believe that he's had a really poor couple of seasons at Chelsea, and I'm still not so sure where his position is, Agal. Now, maybe Arteta believes his position is in an attacking 8 position, and he believes that he can get the best out of him. We have to look and make sure that that can work. But this one has to work, man. This cannot flop for me because Arteta's in huge hot water if that is the case, because he's looked at now Fabio Vieira and Havertz spending over 100 million on both these guys. They've got to work, man. They've got to work. So I think that Kai Havertz has got an unbelievable amount of technical ability. I question sometimes that he uses his attributes to the best of his ability, and that's why I believe he's going to need actually coaching this player, because you've got technical ability. I don't think you use your attributes enough, certainly not for Chelsea. Why are you playing up top and you're not using your link-up play? You're not using your strength. You're not using your presence. You've got technical ability, but you've got to have a lot more than that. And I've also questioned the mentality of him at Chelsea over the last couple of years. Now, if we're buying the Kai Havertz of Bayern Leverkusen, we've got a hell of a talent there. And I hope that we can get that back out of him, man.
I'm just going to say this. Mikel Arteta, there's been articles done from people close to the club that believe that he believes that he can unlock something out of Kai Havertz. And what gives him that confidence is that he was able to turn Granit Xhaka, a deep line midfielder or somebody who mostly played in a more deeper position, and he had him playing closer to goal, closer to Jesus, getting him involved in the attack more than he's ever been involved in his career. So with that being seen, I trust Mikel Arteta's coaching, and I believe a lot of Arsenal fans can see that what Mikel Arteta did with Xhaka was impressive, and maybe he can do the same with Kai Havertz. Do you not have that faith?
I hope so. He has to, for me, because this is a big money signing, and it's one that he clearly wants, and he's told the club he wants. The club have backed it and said, let's do it. Granit Xhaka has gone, and to be fair, I've never been a fan of Gal, I can't lie, but the last couple of seasons, he's got a lot of fans on side, and this season just gone, he was superb. So I think that we actually will miss Granit Xhaka, and Havertz is the guy to come in and prove why we won't miss him. And if Mikel Arteta can get something out of this guy, like he has with the Odegaards, like you just mentioned, Granit Xhaka, then yes, we've got a technically gifted player who could do some bits for Arsenal, and that's what I'm hoping we see. But of course, I'm going to reserve judgment until I see him in an Arsenal shirt, man.
Okay, but with Declan Rice coming in, with that leadership, we haven't really spoken. I feel like we didn't get to speak too much about Declan Rice because his signing officially hasn't happened yet. But we do know he's going to be coming in, and 105 million pounds, as you said, we got the deal over the line. We're so happy about the deal. But with Xhaka leaving, don't you feel like Declan Rice can kind of do that leadership? Can also be another person in the dressing room that can take control of games, and he is somebody who's a vocal leader on and off the pitch. So maybe that was another reason why we waited so long to get rid of Xhaka, because it had to do with Declan Rice coming in.
Facts. Xhaka's gone the moment Rice is coming in, and we know we've got it done. And I still feel that although it's taken a while and people are starting to get worried now and think we're going to pull out the deal on this rubbish I've heard today, that won't happen, man. We've agreed it's just about getting it done. I do think we'll get that done. This is my favourite signing. You go, I can't lie. I really, really, really like this guy. And I think that what he's done at West Ham in a poor side to drive them forward has been superb. And I think his attributes are just superb all round, off and on the pitch. Leadership qualities, definitely got a good mentality. I love everything about his interviews and his behaviour, his demeanour. I love the fact that when he's actually on the field, he has a little bit of everything into his game in midfield. So he's not one of these guys who just sits there and anchors. He drives forward as well. He's happy to take players on with the ball. He's happy to take and drive. You saw the goal that he scored in the Europa League, Conference League, sorry. That is what he's about for me. And I think we'll see more of that at Arsenal. And it wouldn't surprise me, and maybe this ain't going to be popular because people want to see Kai Havertz. It wouldn't surprise me if we see more midfielders coming in and Rice is used as an 8 in games as well as a 6. I would not rule that out. I've spoken to West Ham fans who say play him as an 8. We're having to play him as a 6 because we got Souček and all this rubbish. Play him as an 8. He will smash it for you. Absolutely smash it. So if Partey, the rumours are that he was going to talk in a minute, might not be a long term at Arsenal. I hope that, I like Thomas Partey. But if it is going to be that he goes, I would be looking to get both another 6 and an 8, but certainly another 6, like a Tchouameni or like a Caicedo, Lavia, whatever it be, because Declan Rice, for me, can play in that 8 position as well as potentially Kai Havertz. So let's see what happens, man.
You see what's happening? We were literally touching on the topic. I could segue into anything.
Yeah, man.
But before we go any further, big up everyone. Continue to submit your comments in. This came from absolutely left field. What? Arsenal are linked to Kyle Walker and Julian Alvarez? I'll take both of them. But
tomorrow.
The reality is Man City is not going to sell to us. That's the honest truth. Julian Alvarez just signed a new contract until 2028 after he won the World Cup. He's not going nowhere. Kyle Walker, if he leaves, he's going to go to Bayern. He's not going to come to Arsenal. And I haven't really seen any strong links to Arsenal to sign to Kyle Walker. And we don't really need Kyle Walker. We have like 7 right backs already. If you include Tomiyasu, Cedric, we're just signing Timber, Ben White. It doesn't make sense personally to get Kyle Walker, but Julian Alvarez every single day of the week. Don't you think?
Nate, I'm with you. This is not going to happen. But if we're linked with them, and listen, I take both of them. Like, I don't care that we go. This is about competition for me now for places. They're both top quality players. Julian Alvarez in a heartbeat, absolute heartbeat. I think the kid is ridiculously good. But the reason we're being linked with these guys is because it's Zinchenko and Jesus. It's nothing else. It's because we've gone for the players that aren't quite getting in. And look at Kyle Walker and Julian Alvarez. They've got Haaland in front of them, and they've got a different system now that isn't really fitting the likes of Kyle Walker in. And of course, starting the window, we're willing to João Cancelo as well. This is what's going to happen now. I'll be amazed if Pep Guardiola sells any of his players to Arsenal when he knows that we're going to be a rival this coming season. I'll be stunned.
And also someone like Julian Alvarez, who could literally become transformative in a couple of years.
Exactly.
Time. Like, it doesn't make sense. They're
Not
so
to
lucky.
me.
They're so lucky. They have Haaland, Julian Alvarez. They don't need anybody else in that striker position for the next 10 years. Why?
Julian Alvarez has just won the treble and the World Cup in 1 year.
And he won the Copa literally last year.
There you go.
He's completed football. He's 22.
He has, man.
Mental.
It is mad.
Getting back to we need to complete football. We need to win the Champions League. I can't have Man City fans sticking it to us too much. I thought Chris Wheatley said Timber will be announced today. Nobody knows what they're talking about, to be honest. No offense to Chris Wheatley, but a lot of journalists, a lot of people have been putting their neck on the line saying it's going to be announced today, it's going to be announced tomorrow. The reality is only people who know is the media team, and when it's going to actually drop, they're going to know probably 2 seconds before. Really and truly, Arsenal do things spontaneously when it comes to these things, and I don't think it's predictable at all. But yeah, let's go into the Thomas Partey side of things. You said Xhaka leaving, we'll miss him. Do you think we'll miss him if we don't sign the quality that we did, like Declan Rice, or are you saying as of right now, as the team is currently constructed, you're going to miss Granit Xhaka? Because
that's what I mean.
360. from what you said
100%.
last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's mad because he's really not been a player I've rated and like. Well, I think rated is probably the wrong word. He's been a player that I don't like for some of his behaviour, some of his antics. Players making the same mistakes year in, year out. I still have a sour taste in my mouth by the Crystal Palace throwing the armband on the floor, telling us all to F off and walking out. It's just me. Get over it, people. I can't. But if you want to get over it, all good. But actually, I'm happy to move on if Granit Xhaka wants to go. That's not what I'm meaning by I will miss him. He needs to keep him. At the moment, our midfield ain't strong enough, right, for it to compete. But I'm not saying it won't be by the time the window closes or the season starts. And that's what I want to be seeing now. So for me, if we lose Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, we need to do some serious business in our midfield. Let me ask you this. Right now, if I was to say to you, Xhaka, Partey and Ødegaard, or Rice, Havertz, and Ødegaard, I would go with Xhaka, Partey, and Ødegaard. Why? Because it works. I'm not saying that I don't want Declan Rice, because that's obviously who I want. But I don't know what Rice, Havertz, and Ødegaard could do. It could smash it. We could be sitting here now, Gal, going, sorry, Xhaka and Partey who? I don't need them. I want this. But until that happens, I need to... Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, before we even get onto Partey, I'm just going to say the reason why I think they've gone this route is because you look at the average age of Xhaka, Partey, Jorginho.
Yeah.
The core, El Neni also, the core of our midfield is a lot older than the rest of the squad. If you look at our defense, you look at our attack, even our goalkeeper, they're all adequate age to continue to grow with the squad if we don't win this year. But really and truly, with Granit Xhaka coming down close to the end of his contract, we're not going to give him a new one. El Neni, not going to give him a new one. Jorginho, he's only here for another year potentially. We're going to move him on next year probably. Partey has 2 years left on his contract. We're going to have to bring in new midfielders. That's why we're spending the big money on Declan Rice. So we have the solidity of somebody who can come in with the experience and we don't have to worry about the drop off and the growing pains, right? Kai Havertz, it's a high risk. It's a high risk based on the price tag and how he's done at Chelsea. But it's also high reward in the sense that if we can get him going, he's 10 times better than Xhaka in the attacking third. Let's just see how he does overall in the midfield because we haven't seen him in the midfield in a long time. And yes, I agree with you. Your point is accurate. We have gotten weaker, but it's also we haven't seen these guys play, so we can't actually judge them fully if it's 100% weaker.
And also, we're not done yet either. We're not done yet. I truly believe we'll get more.
And I don't think Partey leaves, in my opinion. This is where we go into Partey because there's rumors about Partey, and we're going to get into all the rumors about Partey. But first, we got to address one ridiculous rumor that I've seen today. And I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but Partey has been linked to a Premier League rival. And he's been linked to Manchester United out of all teams. Reportedly, Manchester United are interested in signing Thomas Partey, and they could potentially get him as an alternative to one of their transfer targets. This is reported by the Mirror, as Juventus have also been interested in Thomas Partey. And I'm just going to pull up the report because this is not something that they wouldn't ruin their credibility as a journalist to just say fake news. But there has to be some sort of pressure from Manchester United saying, you know what, we're interested in him. And I think if Arsenal were to get a lot of money, it would only be from Saudi or somebody within the Premier League. Say Manchester United submit a £40 million bid for Thomas Partey. Would we reject it?
Yes, because it's Man United. We cannot sell him to Manchester United. For me, he has to go to Saudi or to Italy for the 45 million. If Rúben Neves goes to Saudi Arabia for 47 million, Thomas Partey is better than him. So we need to be going for at least that, if not more. I understand he's at a different age. I would not be selling him to Manchester United. Partey, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, that's a good midfield. We're basically strengthening a rival. They had a centre forward and all of a sudden United are here to play. So I would not be doing that. I am surprised that Arteta wants to sell him. I know he dropped off towards the back end of last season, but so did a lot of players. This guy was phenomenal, Igal. He wasn't just all right. He was phenomenal for us, mate. I don't think people appreciate how good he is on the ball and how important and pivotal he was to our midfield. So if he is going to go, we're not going to be able to go and buy Tchouameni or Lavia. We've got to go and get a Tchouameni or somebody like that because that's how good this guy is, man. So we were selling Partey, fair play, but we expect somebody big like that to come in. And secondly, Man United, why would he go there? Why would we sell him there? We've just spoken about Man City not selling us Alvarez and Walker. It's similar the other way around for me. I do not want him going anyway, but if he's going to go to Saudi and get some serious money. Don't go to Man United. That would be a silly move for me.
Rumor has it that he doesn't want to go to Saudi, but we don't know that 100%. I'm just going to say this. I don't believe for 1 second Arsenal would sell him to Manchester United. But if they did come with a very tempting offer, what would that offer have to be?
More than we paid. So we paid 50. So over 50 million for me. Has to be over 50 million.
And
We can't be giving 30 million or something like that. We can't be doing that.
And I think Manchester United would try to come in with a cheeky 25 mil and we'd reject it.
That's what I mean. That is mad.
Really and truly, we know Man United at this moment in time, they're not the team they used to be, which splashes the cash everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to ask you this then. Since everyone in the chat agrees, by the way, that Manchester United, he's not ending up there. I would not want to see him in a Man United kit. It would piss me off because this is a guy we back, and it's not another situation where I want to see players leaving Arsenal to another rival, unless we're completely done with them, like a guy like Cedric or Lokonga. But hey, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice comparisons have been happening a lot. Where do you stand on that? Are you still one of those people who say Thomas Partey is better than Declan Rice? And if you had to start one in a one-off game and you needed the best performance, you would go with Partey over Declan Rice at this moment in time? Because since we've signed Declan Rice, I'm not going to lie to you, I've been swayed that Declan Rice is the better overall player for the future, obviously. But in a one-off game, you can make the case that Partey is still better.
Yeah, and I'm with you. If you ask me now, who would you rather sign? Declan Rice, 100%. If you ask me who's the better player right now, then it is Thomas Partey. Because everybody was talking about 3 defensive midfielders last season. Who's the better one? Rodri, Casemiro, or Partey? Nobody mentioned Rice, which means to me, or Caicedo, which means to me that them 3 are the ones that are standing out in the Premier League right now. Ask me who I want to sign, it's Declan Rice. Ask me who I want starting at Arsenal for the next 5-10 years, it's Declan Rice. But if you ask me right now who's going to win the game, and I've got Xhaka, Partey, Ødegaard, or Rice, Havertz, Ødegaard, I'm starting this midfield trio that started last season and went pretty much 32 games as the best midfield in the league. So that's what I need to be looking at now. But Declan Rice, let's make no arms about it. He is a superb signing, man. Absolute quality signing.
Yeah, and people, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. We're here doing some great content for you guys, talking about Arsenal and giving you guys all the latest on the Arsenal transfer news. So please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, let me know what you guys think. Would you rather, in a one-off game, start Thomas Partey or Declan Rice? Everyone in the comment section, let me know right now. I'm going to tell you this. Even though I understand Thomas Partey was better last season, I think going forward, Declan Rice is going to be better. And based on availability, based on the fact that every single big game, it seemed like Thomas Partey went out injured or something was going on with him. Can we rely on him throughout a season? Now, if I change it to the whole entire season, is there a case to be said, because Declan Rice plays for West Ham, he wasn't put in the conversation as the best DM, but going forward, Partey is going to almost be forgotten, and Declan Rice will be mentioned in that bracket now as the top 3 DMs. I think both Partey and Declan Rice have a case, and you could say they get into all teams in the Premier League probably. Even Man City, maybe they get into. But right now, Declan Rice, I think he's undroppable in any team in the league.
So for me, Rodri's the best CDM in the world. I've not seen anything like that for a while. He's been phenomenal, and this is coming from somebody, by the way, who questioned him. I didn't get him when he came to Manchester City. I thought, what is this guy? I just don't get it. Fernandinho and Yaya Toure and Kevin De Bruyne and etc. were so much better for me. Then, wow, he turned up. Rodri is a player you look at a little bit like a Sergio Busquets, a Gilberto Silva at Arsenal. You don't quite see what he does on the ball, but when you actually watch him play, you understand the game of football. Let me tell you, that guy is ridiculously good. So he's for me number 1. I think after that, Igal, you're right. Casemiro, definitely up there for me, one of the best. And then you've got Partey and Declan Rice. And if Partey's going to go, Rice will be known as the 3rd best defensive midfielder in the league behind Rodri and Casemiro, for sure. I think he's alongside Partey for me at the moment, if you were looking at him coming into this Arsenal side, to say which one of them is going to be a better this season. And we'll have to find out. I think they can both play together. I think Rice can be an 8, more of an 8, and Partey as a 6, and then Ødegaard pushing right forward. I think that would be a fantastic midfield personally. But yeah, it would be, for me, a really good battle. But I can see Partey leaving. I know you're saying you don't see it. I think Partey might go. I just don't think it'll be Man United, bro. I really don't.
Yeah, Arsenal should announce Timber already, bro. We know, we're waiting. We're waiting. Listen, don't even bother yourselves, guys. Just go do what you got to do. When you see the ping on your phone, just know it's been announced. At this point, you need to stop refreshing. Your fingers are going to get hurt. Let's get into some of these other links. I'm going to ask you straightforward. Going from Arsenal to Lavia, what is that for you?
If Arsenal sign Lavia, did you say?
Yeah, and they get rid of. How would you feel about that? Because
okay,
I've seen some uproar, and I've seen some people saying, you know what, it's a smart move. And I've seen people even go to the furthest depth where they said they've compared it to the likes of Lokonga, and they're saying he's just not ready.
Okay, so let me answer that in two ways. Would Lavia be a good signing for Arsenal? 100,000 million% yes. I think this kid looks sensational. It's really hard when a team goes down and gets relegated to sit there and say how fantastic the squad is, right? But when you look at what Southampton have done with Lavia, it has been a player who, for me, was head and shoulders above. Now, I've had the pleasure of starting my own podcast and inviting other fans on, not just dedicating Arsenal content on my channel's Football's 12th Man. And I do believe that it's been a great thing for me to understand more about what the other teams are saying in terms of their players. And Liam, our Southampton fan, has been raving about this kid, saying, how the hell have we got this guy? He is unreal. And he's saying 40 million would be a steal for anybody at all. And I know they think they're talking about 50 million now. I'd be really happy with that. However, is it a replacement for Partey? No, because there's a drop-off still. Now, I'm not saying Lavia would be a shocking replacement. I'm just saying that he wouldn't be at the same level. So for me, if we're going to be replacing Thomas Partey with somebody, it has to be one of the following: Caicedo, Tchouameni, or De Jong. For me,
so
they're the three.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Tchouameni. Do you honestly believe Tchouameni is realistic? Because I had a Real Madrid fan on the other day, and he basically broke it down to me. He's like, their midfield going forward is going to be Tchouameni, Camavinga, and Jude Bellingham. The next year, they're trying to move out Kroos and Modric, right? So both of them they're trying to move them on, and they're going to have a situation where Tchouameni is going to be their only true DM that they have in their team. Camavinga, they don't view him as a DM; they view him as an 8. So, with that being said, Tchouameni seems to be one of the only real untouchables. Valverde might be gone before him. Camavinga might be gone before him. So, is the Tchouameni links actually realistic then at this point? Because they would want over 100 million, and that would mean 200 million transfers in one transfer window. I just don't see it, bro.
I agree totally with everything you've just said. I don't understand why he's being linked with a move away. I think he'd be an unbelievably good signing for Arsenal. I think he'd be sensational. 23 years old, a 6, can probably play in the 8, looks sensational for club and country. I'd be amazed if Real Madrid get rid of this guy. Valverde, again, unbelievable player. Don't know why they want to get rid of him. Camavinga, versatile, young, good age. Bellingham, just signed. Modric and Kroos going nowhere until next year. So they are stacked in midfield. But I think you're right. He's the one that starts for me as the 6, and then the others come in and around him. So I'd be surprised if this one happens. The only thing I will say is that apparently there has been rumours that there is a bit of a green light about Tchouameni and that he may be available. Now, whether he'll want to come to Arsenal, I don't know. I don't think it'll be Arsenal as the only club that is in for him. But I would like to think that we're in a position now where we'd be a lot more attractive than we have been in the last few years, and that players like him would at least be interested in taking a look at what we're up to. But if I have to put money on it, mate, I'd say to stay at Real Madrid, if I'm honest.
Fair enough. And people, don't forget to like the video. We're almost past 100 likes, if I'm not mistaken, at this point. I think we actually got past 100 likes. I just haven't refreshed my screen yet. But please do hit that like button. Also, don't forget, Dan Potts' channel is in the link of the description. It is Football's 12th Man podcast. We're going to be on there 8 o'clock, so make sure you do remember to check us out over there afterwards. Did you post it so I can redirect, of course? Let me know.
I haven't posted yet, but yeah, we can sort that. We can sort that.
Okay, no worries. And then definitely just get it ready so I can redirect before the end of the stream. And of course, everyone in the chat, let me know if you agree with us, because I don't think the Tchouameni links are legitimate. But the other one you said was Caicedo. let's be honest, bro. That one's not going to happen either.
I think he's going Chelsea. If I'm honest with you, I just don't think it will be one that I look at now and think that we're going to get. The only thing I'll say, Gal, why has this not happened yet to anyone? Because this is a player that is available. It's not a player that we look at and go, okay, I don't know why he's leaving Brighton. This is a player that is definitely happy. He's going, man. But is it because they want too much? Is it because, okay.
Let me give you my reasoning. Brighton got basically they made a mistake. They gave Mikel Arteta a new contract, and they gave him a contract where he could leave for a realistic cheap fee to any club that wants to come in for him. So Liverpool bought him for 35 million. They want to circumvent the loss in his market value to what they sold him for in the Caicedo deal. So they're trying to capitalize on as much money that they can make off Caicedo from Chelsea, because they sold Mikel Arteta for about 15 million below market value.
Listen, I think this transfer market is actually getting a little bit silly now. It's getting a little bit frustrating. Does that not make
sense? Does that not
No, it does make sense. It does. Listen, I'm totally with you, and I understand why you've said everything that you're saying. And you're probably absolutely spot on with what you're saying. But Caicedo's not.
Chelsea refused to pay £100 million in 4.
So what happens now then? What do you think with Caicedo?
They've given them an ultimatum: either give us 85 million upfront cash, or give us £100 million over 4 years. And Chelsea are saying, no, we'll give you 85 million over 4 years. And they said, no, either pay the 100 million or give us 85 million cash that we can reinvest in the squad right now. And Chelsea are basically saying, based on FFP, we cannot give you 85 million up front. We can give you 100 million, but give it to us over 5 years now. They're like, no. So it's a whole thing, haggling and arguing and negotiating over the contract and how it's going to be worked out. If it's going to be 100 million spread out over a couple of years, or if it's going to be a lesser amount paid with majority of it up front. And that's basically where they currently are. They currently are still negotiating that. And it could be a situation if Arsenal were to sell all our players, or Manchester United were able to raise 100 million and someone could come in and just pay 85 million upfront cash, they can get that player easily from Brighton. But Chelsea do seem to be in the driving seat, and it seems to be that they're going to get the deal done. They're just trying to wait until somebody buckles. Either Chelsea buckle and they ease into Brighton's demands, or Brighton ease into Chelsea's demands and just give them the player for a cheaper price.
So where do you stand on this then? Because let's say Partey is going. Some would say if Partey wants to go, let him go. But if we can't replace him with someone stronger, like Tchouameni, like Caicedo, like De Jong, like somebody like that, then do we keep him? Do we just say you're not going?
I keep Thomas Partey, and I think he still has 2 years left. So we could sell him next summer and still make some pennies. But the reality is, if he stays and he's a bench player and he's rotated into these Champions League games and everything, it's probably better for him than if he's playing week in, week out, potentially getting injured. It could actually prolong his career if he stays and he does a Fernandinho type role at Arsenal. Why don't we do that? Why don't we just keep him? And instead of bringing in a Lavia, because I think Arsenal's main goal is to try to get younger in the midfield. With Jorginho and Partey there, they still haven't gotten that much younger yet.
And that's the thing. If we're selling 2 midfielders, surely Jorginho and Elneny are the 2 that we're looking at replacing or upgrading on. Now, I understand Granit Xhaka already wanted to go and blah, blah, blah. And if Partey wants to go as well, I'm thinking, so we've still got Jorginho and Elneny, which means that
Elneny's on a Santi Cazorla contract at this point. He's basically only here because of the injury. He's not really considered somebody who's going to be registered in the Champions League.
But my point is, if we stick with what we've got right now, Declan Rice goes in 2-footed and gets it wrong. He's out for 3 games. Who comes in? Jorginho. So we're back to square one.
No, so, but that's if Partey leaves.
That's what I'm saying. So if he goes, we need to replace. We can't have this, we've got Rice. We've got to be going and getting another player in, and it needs to be someone of top quality, Gal. That's what I'm getting at.
100%. And that has always been the reports. Always the reports have been another midfielder coming in is dependent on Partey staying or leaving. If Partey leaves, we're going to get another midfielder. If Partey stays, well, we're not going to get him another midfielder. And the quality of that midfielder has been always stated that it's going to be either a Lavia or somebody of the level of Caicedo or Tchouameni. But I don't think Caicedo and Tchouameni make sense unless we sell Partey for at least 40 million and then we sell a Balogun for 50 million. Then we have the funds to go and pay that money again. Because let's be honest, as much as the Cronkies and everybody else is saying we're ready to splash the cash, 2 $100 million transfers in the same transfer window is not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen unless we spend big. Sell big. So this goes to my next question. Who do we sell?
Okay, a few. And I actually believe after this Rice and Timber deal gets announced, which I hope will be soon, we'll see outgoings before we see incomings. The outgoings, I believe, will be as follows. Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga, Cedric, Runnison.
1 second, you're going way too fast. So
go on.
I need to know the valuation so I can write this down.
Okay, cool. Let's go with this then.
So Pepe, how much?
Pepe, we're not going to get anything. There's rumors that we're going to mutually terminate his contract. That I believe that will probably happen. I can't see any bids coming in. So we're going to have to cut our losses with that one. Cedric, we might be lucky if we get a couple of mil. I don't think he's going to give us like a £10 million value. The guy's 33 years old. Couldn't get into the Fulham side when he was on loan. For me, we're going to be lucky to get a couple of mil for him, right? Likewise, Runnison. I don't know about you, Agal, but we ain't going to get much for that dude. So
zero so far.
We're talking not minimal at the moment. Rob Holding, rumors of a loan. I mean, what do you think?
10 mil?
That's a lot, I would say. I would say probably in between 5 and 10, if we're lucky.
5 and 10?
Yeah, I think it'll be something like 8 million, maybe. How old is he? 28, is he? He's not old, but he's not top quality, is he? Maybe like a Burnley might want somebody like that to come in. I don't know. I don't know where we're going.
I'm going to show you my list, and you're going to probably laugh because this went viral on Twitter because people were laughing.
Don't say you've gone over the top with this, man. Come on.
I got absolutely cooked for this because I said Mohamed Elneny for 5 million, Kieran Tierney for 30 million, Rob Holding for 10 million, Nicolas Pepe for 25 million. Pablo Mari for 6 million, Charlie Patino for 10 million. I said we could put Eddie Nketiah in the swap deal for Declan Rice. Basically, I was saying,
what are you like, man?
No, I said Eddie Nketiah.
20 million. Look on, we ain't getting 20 million, bro.
Bro, this was May 10th.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this wasn't the other day. Okay.
This was May 10th. So this was a couple months ago. I didn't realize how bare the market was. So I even thought we can get 5 million for Runnison and Trusty. So I got up to 166 mil. I'm telling you right now, we'd be lucky to break 100 mil with these guys.
100%. Or let me go through what I think in comparison to you. Yeah. So Elneny, I actually think if we were going to sell him, which I don't think we really will, I think he's just going to stay as a squad player. You're about right there with that price tag. I don't think we're getting much more than that. Kieran Tierney, yeah, I don't think we should sell him at all. If we do, then it'll be around about that mark. I would try to push for closer to 40 because I think he's top quality, but you're probably right in that. You're not too far off. Rob Holding, I think, will get less than 10 million. I don't think the guy is good enough, in my opinion. I'll go with... Yeah, between 5, maybe 7 and to 8 it tops. Yeah, I think 5 is probably more realistic. Pepe, nah, forget 25, bro. That ain't happening. I like Pepe. I actually don't mind him. A lot of people hate him. I think he got a lot of unfair criticism. But when you look at him, I think we're going to get 0 for him. I think we're going to cut our losses, allow him to go on a free, bit like what we did with Willian, and just let him go somewhere else. That's what I think. So that'll be 0. Pablo Maria's already gone to Monza for around about 5 to 6 million. So you're right there, bro. So well done. You got one right. Patino, do you think we'll get rid of him? I think it might be more of a loan again. But maybe if we were going to sell him, that we
leave on a permanent.
Okay, then I would agree with that price tag because of his age. I don't think you're far off with that. Eddie, I think he's staying. I would sell him if we could get between 15 and 20 million for Eddie Nketiah. I think that would be fair to say goodbye because I don't rate the kid. I don't know about you. I don't think he's great. Having said that, Ryan Brewster went for like 25 million to Sheffield United and he's been poor. So maybe we can push for closer to a 25. But I don't think Eddie is going to win us a title, mate. I think that would be fine. But I think he'll stay because Arteta does like him. Balogun, I think you're right. That's about right there. £35 million. I think we've put a price tag of 50. We're not going to get 50 million for Balogun. He scored like 2 goals for Middlesbrough and he scored 22 for.
What do you think about Balogun to Chelsea?
I would not do that. I would not do that. I would not strengthen their squad in any way, shape, or form. I really don't feel like Balogun to a Premier League club of our rival would be a good idea. I'm happy for him to go to Wolves or Palace or Brighton or somewhere like that to try and get first team football and convince everybody he's a top talent, which I believe that he's got the potential to be. But I think if I had my choice, it would be a loan deal in England, but I don't think he wants that. I think he wants first team football and a permanent deal. And if it ain't going to be at Arsenal, which it's not going to be, then we're going to have to look to sell him. But if we are going to be selling to a club of that ilk, I want it to be abroad. I don't want it to be at Chelsea United or Liverpool or someone like that. Tavares, again, I think you're pushing there at 15. I think we signed him for 7. We'll probably get 10, I reckon. If we're very lucky. Lokonga, yeah, we signed him for 17 million. We ain't going to get 20. I think we'll be lucky to get 10. I think he's been terrible for Arsenal and for Palace. I spoke to my mate who's a Palace fan and he just said, wow, I don't want him back. He's awful. So he'll be like a flop. And Runnison and Trusty, I think, yeah, I don't know about them too. Runnison, I think we'll be lucky to get 5 million. We've got to only get a couple of million for him. And Trusty, I haven't seen enough of this guy. I don't know what he's like. Apparently he played really well at Birmingham, but I think you're probably right. We can, because of his age, probably get towards that price if we're lucky. So yeah, man, I think we're going to be lucky to get 100 million from that lot at this rate, if I'm honest with you, bro.
Damn. You know what? Enough about that. The reality is it's tough to sell players, but you know what? It's going to get easier as we get better and better. It's going to be easier for us to sell some of our players like Liverpool did. But Balogun is the one where I think we can garner at least 40 to 50 mil.
I hope so, man. I really hope so.
At least aim for 50, and if you get 40, fine. That's the plan, right?
But yeah, listen, that's the thing. You got to go and ask for that and then see what you get.
Now, let me ask you this. Guys, we've been linked to a Brazilian, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch Brazilian football. We've been linked to a 23-year-old Brazilian midfielder, reportedly around 10 million pounds is the transfer, 10 million euros is the transfer fee, and Arsenal will be willing to pay it for the central midfielder. He's highly touted, and apparently Porto and some other clubs are also after him. They have a 70% of the player's rights, so we'd have to pay 10 million for the 23-year-old because we have to pay for the rest of the 30% somehow. These because I think his agent owns 30% of the player's rights. It's something weird like that. So we have to pay the agent another sum. It's some weird thing. But the player is 23 years old. He's a highly touted young midfielder, very much unknown from my perspective. And he would be coming from Brazil, similar to how we got Martinelli, expecting him to maybe make a difference in a couple of years' time. But if he can make a difference right away, that's a coup. I think 10 million. We've taken bigger gambles on Lokonga. So
we have. I don't know anything about this guy. Never heard of him. I don't watch Brazilian football. Bitello, never heard of him. Let me tell you this: if we sign this guy for 10 million, it's fine by me. But I don't want to be seeing him coming into the first team. And stuff like that. For me, we've bought Martinelli, brilliant. But we've also bought Wellington Silva or Marquinhos and others that just haven't made it. So us signing this player is not exciting for a title challenge, is what I'm getting at, Igal. If he wants to be here and go out on loan in England for a season to see what he's like, I'm fine with that. But I don't want him coming in to be Saka's replacement or something like that.
You know what's worrying though? He's 23 years old and he's only had like 13 matches in the league.
Yeah, that's not many.
Wait, he played in the Serie B though, and had 36 games. But like really and truly, we're not trying to get someone from the development league in the Brazilian league. I know we got Martinelli from there, but it's like unless he's touted to become the next Martinelli, I don't really know. I can't say yes or no on somebody I don't know too well. But it's very underwhelming. I like the fact that we've been making a lot of Premier League signings, a lot of signings of players that we kind of know and are, at least we've seen them play against our team. Why not go for somebody like, what's that guy from Crystal Palace who we're linked to the other day?
Olise.
Is it Olise they were willing
Oh
to?
no, I don't know. I don't know wording with someone from Palace. Is he
Okay,
a
what?
youngster or
There's Eze and the other guy's name. What is his name?
Eze and Elise are the two that I know?
Okay, so I think it's Olise. I think that's the one we're linked to. Michael Olise, right?
Yeah, I'd take him tomorrow. I would take him tomorrow.
How
Quality
much is he
player.
available for? I've seen something
Well,
crazy.
go on. What have you heard? How much have you heard?
Michael Olise will reject a move to Arsenal this summer. What? As his plans is to stay at Crystal Palace next season. Okay, this is just a contract rumor then.
Yeah, of course it is. And I do think that if we do want this guy, then he's probably like a £35 million winger, but Palace are going to want about 80 for him. You know what I mean? That's how crazy this window is.
Apparently, the links originally started in April, but apparently yesterday we're linked to him again. Rumor has it that he's available for 40 million.
I would take that tomorrow. Honestly, I think this kid is ridiculously good, mate. Honestly, I really, really like what I see from Olise. I think he got like 1 assist less than Saka this season just gone. So he's very creative. He's got pace. He's got power. He's got a wicked left foot. He's got a strike on him. He creates. He's definitely not afraid to take a player on. And when he cuts inside, it isn't like Pepe cutting inside. Do you know what I mean? He actually looks like he's going to do something. So I think this would be a fan. I didn't know we were linked with him, but he would be a really good option. I mean, I was looking at Moussa Diaby, who apparently Villa and Newcastle was sniffing around, but I would take Olise 100%. But there's a lot of other rumours that PSG are looking at players like that as well. So we're going to have to try and get in there quick if we want him.
PSG are looking at Olise. That's
apparently so. Yeah, apparently so. I think he's young and French, isn't he? He's not English, is he, Olise?
I'm sure he's French. Yeah, he's French.
So they're looking at the young. Yeah, well, to be fair, PSG are getting rid of everyone, aren't they? So they're trying to start again. Do you know what I mean? So
you know what? We don't have to deal with the Moussa Diaby links anymore. What's the other one? Milinković-Savić. Every single year, those guys. Luckily, we don't have to worry about those guys anymore because one's going to Aston Villa, other one's going to Saudi Arabia. So we're not going to be linked to those.
Oh, is Savić going to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia. Wow, this is getting worrying then because he's a 27-year-old, is he? He's not young. I don't think he's that old either. But
you never
I was hearing today Mitrovic is going to Saudi Arabia apparently. Like, what is going on here? Like, all of these players. I thought we were going to be seeing like 32, 33-year-olds going, man, not 24, 25, 26-year-olds. Come on.
Mo Salah's next. Mo Salah's next.
Imagine.
Mo Salah's next. Listen, Liverpool fans, be careful. Your boy is going to Saudi next. Listen, he's the head of the Muslim world, man. But yeah, he's going to Al Hilal. Al Hilal. Wow. This is the same. He's going to be teaming up with Rúben Neves.
Wow, what a midfield that is.
That's I'm going to tell you something. I don't think a lot of people are talking about this. The Saudi League's end goal is to find a way to join the Champions League.
Of course, 100% it is, and it will find a way. It will.
Because let's be honest, if Ukraine have a chance to be in there, Azerbaijan are in there, Israel's in there. Why shouldn't they be in there if their team
and they will be
good enough?
And do you know what, Igal, right? Be real. Rúben Neves and Milinković-Savić together in the Premier League would both walk in to a lot of Premier League sides. And I'm not talking like, Burnley, or I'm talking Brentford, Fulham, maybe even like definitely Tottenham, West Ham, Everton's, those kind of teams. They're walking into those players. They're even too good for those teams. They'll be touching, honestly, mate, like they're top players there.
Al Hilal's team next season could be a very competitive team if they were in the Champions League.
Agreed with that, bro. Agreed with that.
What?
Yeah, it's mad. It's scary, man.
But how long would it take before the Saudi League is accepted by the European teams to be in that league? Because if they are accepted, could they ever become a threat to the Premier League?
Would the I don't want to think. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, I don't want to think about it. But I do worry. In the back of my mind, this doesn't feel like China a few years ago to me. When like Garcia was going over there and Oscar and all those guys. And everyone went, nah, don't fancy that. I'm going to stay into a passionate league that's competitive. This sounds like money talks big time. And it sounds to me like they're going to go and sort this out. So I really hope that they don't. I really hope that this is just a bit of a phase we're going through. And we can keep what we've got. But this is worrying, man, because the Saudis won't stop. They want the World Cup for sure. and they want to be part in
They're not
European
going to get
signings.
it, apparently, because Portugal, Spain, and Morocco are making a joint bid for the next World Cup, and they're going to get it.
Okay.
So Saudi are basically saying, forget the World Cup. They're trying to get their league into the Champions League. And if they can do that, what's stopping them from getting the Mbappes and all these guys? And the number one thing they're going to do, the MLS people are the most pissed off, because all these guys would usually go to the MLS. This is an MLS killer. This literally could kill the MLS market value for players to go to after they retire. Because what's the benefit of going to the MLS when you can go to the Saudi League, play a much more competitive football, with much more competitive teams, and potentially even be in the Champions League?
Listen, it's a worry. I am worried by it, because a lot of people are saying, don't be, it's not going to happen, it's not going to keep going. What? Like, honestly, it could do. How do we know that? I mean, we hope not, but it could do, man. This could be a worry.
You've seen what happened in golf? Are you a golf fan?
I'm not a golf fan, but I know what's happening, and it's worrying because of that reason. That is one of the reasons.
Basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Liv started their own golf, which is backed by the Saudi League. They've now basically joined, and they're joint owners of the PGOL tour now. So they basically own golf. So the Saudi representatives have basically purchased golf and the world of golf. It's crazy. But hey, it's not crazy in the sense of, like, I'm not like saying I'm against it. I'm just saying, who would have ever thought that there would be a merger of a league that was just started like 2 weeks ago with the PGOL? That's like somebody making a Premier League B and just joining with the Premier League and taking over. That's never going to happen in a million years in another sport.
It's mental, bro. It's mental, and it does worry me, but I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I would not watch it. A lot of people are saying, yes, I'm going to watch it because Benzema's over there, Ronaldo's playing over there. I ain't going to do it. Sorry, I ain't going to do it. It don't bother me. It's like watching an All-Stars game. It's like watching a best in the world versus some rubbish side. I wouldn't bother with it. You know, it's like watching Soccer Aid all over again, isn't it? For me, I'm not interested in that rubbish. I just want to go and watch Premier League football, which means something. No, it doesn't mean anything over there. Whoever wins that, to me, I couldn't give a damn. You go, honestly, I couldn't care less whether Ronaldo lifts it, whether Benzema lifts it, whether they lift it together, or whether it's someone completely different over there. I don't want to go and see Kante playing at 49. I don't want to go and see Benzema still playing at 50. It doesn't bother me, stuff like that. So for me, man, I'm sticking to English football, and I still think the Premier League's the best league in the world, man.
Okay, and before we go, I'm just gonna say one more thing. Forget about Timber and everything else. Are you worried about the direction football is headed in? Is that what you're saying? Because I feel like football in itself has changed. It's gone away from being a creative thing where there's not as many Neymars and stuff. There's a lot more people that are just robotic, and they just pass the ball, and eventually when they score, it's a tap in and they don't even celebrate. Like, are you worried about the direction football is headed in for the younger generations?
No, because they won't know any different. So if you ask me now, do I prefer watching football now or in the 90s? I prefer watching football in the 90s for many reasons. I think money has changed and ruined parts of football. I think there's technology which actually hasn't helped at all with improving football. I also think that there is a lot more corruption that goes on. I don't want to get into the politics of it because I think it needs to be away from football. I don't think the two should mix. So I don't think there's as much enjoyment. Football should be about entertainment, and football should be about the passion and joy of watching your team deliver. And for me, when you're giving teams £8 billion to spend on a football club and teams £8 million or £8,000, I know what team's going to eventually win. And it's going to be the ones that has given £8 billion. And that, for me, is potentially ruining some parts that I used to enjoy the game. And that isn't me being bitter, because Arsenal spend a hell of a lot of money, and we're one of the sides that do spend the billions. So I'm not sitting there as an Arsenal fan crying because Man City spend more than us at times. But I do think that there is fans of, let's say, Fulham, Brighton, Burnley, Luton that have just come up that might look at that and think similarly to me that actually it was a bit better when there was more of an even playing field. But perhaps I'm on my own there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the chat. You guys are completely going left, talking about Neymar, PSG, Mbappe. What are we talking about? Anyways, we're going to wrap it up here, bro. But before we go any further, make sure you guys do check out my guy Dan Potts' channel. Of course, the link is in the description to his channel. And of course, make sure you do hit the like button on the video right now if you haven't already done that, right? We're going to be headed out. And yeah, man, I see people talking about this all the time. It's the last question of the day. Do Arsenal need a striker?
Yes, we do. I'll tell you why we do. Because if we're in a position this coming season where we have Real Madrid in the Champions League in the semi-final, let's say we have an absolute blinder this season, right? And we're playing Brentford away on the Saturday. We've got the first leg of Real Madrid at the Bernabeu on the Tuesday night. Jesus goes down on the Saturday against Brentford. Eddie's up top at the Bernabeu. No, thank you. Get in somebody, please. I can't be dealing with that, bro. If you don't want to get, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it might be Trossard, but again, come on, man. Like, we need a centre forward. If you're giving me the option of Vlahovic, I'm taking it. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm not sure about him. He was terrible at Juventus." A lot of players have been terrible at Juventus. Yeah, Thierry Henry wasn't exactly fantastic at Juventus, was he? So we can't look at other leagues and go, "Oh, he's terrible over there," because they can't kill it. He was sensational for Fiorentina. And he went to Juventus and he's gone at a terrible time where off the pitch they're an absolute mess. A little bit like Chelsea, I suppose. So I'm looking at Vlahovic saying, yeah, go and get him then if it's going to cost 70 million. The only other thing I will do, which is never going to happen because Arteta would never want him, in my opinion, I would buy Tony in January. I would buy Tony in January.
I would too. But why wouldn't Arteta want him? He's so similar to Jesus.
Because I do believe personally, I think Arteta will look at his off-the-field antics and think, I don't want that near my club. That's what I honestly believe. But I would take him tomorrow in a heartbeat. I think he's an all-round striker. Apart from Harry Kane and Haaland, he's the one I would have my money on scoring more goals as a striker. I think he'd be great. Yeah, again, a lot of people will laugh at this, but if it's true about Mitrovic wanting out of Fulham, I would be all over that as well. I think he's an all-round player. Yeah, I think he's an all-round striker.
You're the second person to say Mitrovic. The other day we had Mitrovic to Chelsea. Now you're saying Mitrovic to Arsenal.
I would take him as an option 100%. Is he better than Eddie? Yes.
No, but we can't sign players just to think they're better than Eddie because we did this in the past.
No, we can't. But what I'm saying is, if you're saying to me now, we're not going to buy a striker, I would rather get somebody like Tony, Mitrovic, Vlahovic than not sign anybody. Because I don't want Eddie and Nketiah up front at the Bernabeu, bro.
I'd rather play Trossard and Havertz this season if you don't want to play Eddie, and then next season go in hard for
Osimhen.
Yeah,
I would take that 100%. But are we going to go and get Osimhen next summer? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Napoli won 200 million. They're crazy.
Yeah, it's a mad thing. But look, I personally, I'm not saying I want Mitrovic.
Get me Abraham out of here, man.
Yeah, he's done his ACL. He's not going to happen. He's done for the season. I would go in. Listen, there's not many number 9s out there. Let's be real here, Gal. There's not many number 9s out there that would be to go and kill it. For me, I would go and get Vlahovic or Ramos. They're the two that I would look at. If Ivan Toney is one that we look
Ramos.
at. Yeah, I like Ramos a lot. I think he's a very good player. There would be the two that I would go with. Osimhen would be my number 1. We ain't getting Osimhen, right? Harry Kane, not going to happen. Rasmus Højlund, too much of a risk for me. Højlund, he's played. I think he's scored 7 goals.
Højlund better than Eddie Nketiah right now.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that. I mean, we assume he's going to be because he's been hyped up, but I don't know that. So for me, Vlahovic, like you say, you know, I would go in for him because I feel like that's more of a realistic one. But let's see what happens. What's this? Respect to Gary, we do need a striker. The question is, are these clowns running our mighty club not getting Vlahovic or Tony? That's what I mean. I think we need a striker, man. What do you think, Agal? Do you think we do? I think we do need a striker, yeah.
Listen, I don't think goals are the issue.
I agree with that.
We need to go get a striker. But if we want to win the Champions League and if we want to win off these one-off cup competitions, you're going to need that difference maker up top to win you those games. And right now, Jesus is not going to win us those games. But I think what could end up happening is, follow this for a second. Next season, Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can go and get a Vini or Liao and play Martinelli up top and transition him into a striker, or we can go get a Victor Osimhen. I think we don't necessarily need to go and get an out-and-out striker. In today's football, you just need a unit that can interchange and all can finish. And if there's a situation today, we've seen Liao with Declan Rice. Could Liao be that guy?
I like Rafael Leao. I do. I don't think we're getting Vinicius Junior, but I think Rafael Leao, yeah, good shout. But if we have the chance of going and getting Victor Osimhen next season, 100% go and do it. 100% go and do it. Even if it costs us 100. So I'll tell you this now. If we get the positions covered that I think we need and we don't get the striker, it's the only one I look at and go, bit short there. Go and spend 150 million then on Osimhen next season. I don't care. Go and get him.
If the truth comes out about Ivan Toney that he didn't do all these things, I would get Ivan Toney also.
I like Ivan Toney. I don't know why people have slept on him. I can't believe he's actually still at Brentford, if I'm honest with you.
Liao played left wing, but Henry was a left winger. You can transition him into a striker. That's my thing. If he's a good enough finisher, that's all.
Yeah, I need to see more of him, but yeah, I do like him. But that's why I would go Osimhen, because he's a central forward, and everyone will say, "But what about Jesus?" Good, I'm sorry, I like Jesus, but you need more than him.
Guess what? We don't need a striker to win the league next year. That's my point.
Well, I agree with that. No, I agree with that. I think that we don't need it. If Jesus was to go do an ACL, I would worry though. I would worry.
With Trossard, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, even Balogun still around, I'm not as worried as last season before January.
So Trossard's my number one out of all of those options, because
then Kai Havertz potentially and all the options.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to score goals like Jesus was in the number 9 position? I think we're hoping and praying, man. Come on, bro. I don't see this guy score anything yet for Chelsea.
Number 9 position, you just put an accent on it there.
So what do you think, though?
Listen, I don't think Kai Havertz is going to be playing much as a number 9 or as a false 9. But yeah, Balogun, I don't think Balogun's staying either. I think Balogun sold come transfer windows.
I agree.
But yeah, we're going to wrap this up here, man. Expectations next season, win the league for me. That's the expectations going into it. Champions League, just try to get as far as possible and try to go for a domestic trophy. That's my expectations next season.
Yeah, my aim is to win everything, because that's what I'm about. My expectations are obviously, of course, realistic and different. I want a title challenge and a trophy at the bare minimum. That is what I want. I don't want to be seeing trophy this season again, coming second best to everybody. I need to see a trophy, man. So yeah, title push and a trophy for me.
There you go. And we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Everyone, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And don't forget to check us out at 8 o'clock on Dan's channel. The link is, of course, in the description. And we're out of here, people. You guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.